Hey guys, what's going on? So if you haven't noticed in my last couple of videos, I've been kind of running out of room in this small shop here. Here, let me just show you around. I mean, I'm really crammed in here, like stuff crammed everywhere. I'm really like overflowing this room. So I decided to take over part of the inventory room next door that I use for my business. So I took a good chunk of it, like, I don't know, 18 by 25. So should add a good amount of room. So I've got all the electrical and the studs out of the wall here. So it's about time to just jump right through it. Alrighty. Okay then. So my little shop's gonna get a lot bigger. I don't know which one's gonna be my little shop after this. This one I'm going to cut because I'm going to put this outlet a little farther over so I can still use it. So I'm not going to bust that open, but I figured that would be fun. Oh, that sucks. It doesn't go. Oh, that's right. You know what? I can open all that space up too. I might do that. Or I'll put something here and leave like a big walkway right here because that table will go in there. It's going to be a big room. So just figured I'd show you. This is what I actually do for a living, is break down walls and build rooms and, you know, renovations, electrical, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. But just a brief a view of the 2-second fun part of what I do. But now I have to hook up all those wires, and I have to that wall's not going back up. I already put the new wall up, and I did it all in 3/4 plywood so I could hang stuff everywhere on it. I sprayed it all. I used my airless sprayer to paint it all. So that's why I haven't gotten the suppressor testing done. I did get my spectrum analyzer, the oscilloscope, all that stuff. I haven't gotten the testing video done because I haven't finished my own testing because I've been doing stuff like this. And I have my new printer coming in tomorrow, my high temperature printer, the Intamsys Funmat. So the enhanced. So that's coming in tomorrow, so I want to get this done before tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be able to at least finish the bullet splitting video, the dual target video with the blade tonight. But I gotta get this stuff done first, so that's why I haven't been keeping up on the videos as much as usual. Alright, I will see you guys very soon. I'll be finishing hopefully at least that one tonight after I'm done with this stuff, and then tomorrow I'll be unboxing the Funmat, and then I'll get to the other ones. Alright, later. Alright guys, so part 2. I got the wall down and that room's almost ready. That was yesterday. So my new Intamsys Funmat high temperature enhanced just came in. Duke wants to smell it. He has to authorize everything that comes in the building. Duke, right? Yeah, you good boy. This is right. I'm talking about you. So this is it, and I'm looking forward to opening it up. I'm going to do a full unboxing with you guys. I'm going to actually open it with you guys. This is the expansion of the workshop that you guys probably have seen in the last videos, that I was so crammed in there. This is the extra space. It's actually a little bigger than that. It goes all the way around here, and then all the way over there, connects to the other one, and then that's a huge closet right there. That has my furnace in it, but it also now has my big ass safe that was in my workshop in it, so that's not in the other side anymore. So the epoxy, oh actually it's almost dry. I did epoxy on the floor, two coats of 2-part epoxy, and I did plywood walls so I could hang stuff all over them. And I already got some like Milwaukee pack-out stuff to put on the wall for tools and whatnot, and I got a whole mess of stuff over here. I got a metal workbench. I got a bunch of stuff. This place is kind of a mess right now because of this addition to my shop, but I got all this pack-out stuff to go on the wall for my screw guns and batteries and you know, all that kind of stuff, and my shelves and all that. But I should have this done it snowed last night, so I'm outside doing snow removal right now, and this delivery just came in the snow, so that's why the top of the wrapping of the box is a little wet, but that's why they wrapped it. And that's why all this crap is out here. So this tool bench is going to be in there. These drawers will be on the wall. I got a bunch of stuff ready to go in there. That stuff's all going back into my other workshop when I'm done working on it. And then I'm going to build a nice little countertop that's going to have this and the QIDI printer on it, and the bamboos I'm going to keep in those two bays. I haven't decided where all the guns are going yet. So stay tuned. I mean, not that any of that matters, but you guys will see, you know, the finished product of actually what I really do for a living. And as well as a brand new Intamsys Funmat HT enhanced. So I'm eager to see it myself. So hopefully you guys enjoy. I'll be back with that ASAP. As soon as I get that room ready, I'll be back with that because I'd like to open it myself. So I'm going to build that counter and mount it, and then I'm going to put the QIDI, and then I'm going to open that with you guys, and then I'll put that next to it. All right, see you guys later. Okay guys, so I got my new high temperature printer. I did most of the, I mean, not most of, I did a lot of the work in this new expansion of my workshop. I showed in the earlier part of the video, but at least I started getting some of my stuff up on the walls and some of my benches and stuff in here. My little rising and lowering workbench and some shelving and my metal workbench over there and my Milwaukee stuff, and the printer is going to go over here. I built this little counter for that and the QIDI printer because the bamboos are going to stay in the two bays that I had them in. So they're going to go, the Intamsys is going right there and the QIDI is over there. So, and then my Milwaukee drawers that I have all my 3D printing stuff in. So let me position you where you can see. I'm going to open it up. So before I even got it, I ordered a half kilogram of PEEK, a kilogram of PEKK carbon fiber. Oh, also, I just recently got a dehydrator, which I've been using regular filament dryers, and then I also got a vacuum chamber. And I didn't just get those cheap vacuum pumps that they sell with them for like $50. I do air conditioning, so I have a Yellow Jacket Bullet, which is a really good vacuum pump. It's for you know, air conditioning installations. So I'm going to, and I also got a gallon of desiccant. So I'm gonna try the vacuum chamber with the desiccant. I'm gonna try it after heating in the dehydrator. I'm gonna try it after heating in the filament dryer. I'm just gonna try a combination of things and see which works the best, and I'll let you guys know in a later video. But right now I'm gonna unbox this. So this is my handy stair climbing pallet jack. This is a hand truck that climbs stairs and has a pallet jack on it. So this is pretty heavy, which is why I have it on there. So you guys will understand if you have one, or if you ever get one, you'll understand why I am using that. This phone does not want to stop. Also, when I ordered this, before I even got it, I ordered the best extruder they have for it. This is the Bondtech all metal extruder with the pancake stepper motor. So I've had that for a little bit. And this is the carbon fiber plate that goes in it so you don't break the glass. So I ordered all the best parts for it. And hot ends, this comes with two of its own, but I ordered some aftermarket good hot ends, you know, a Diamondback nozzle for the lower temperature. For the high temperature, I have a couple other nozzles that can go up to 500. All right, let me get my snips for these straps. Where are they? Sorry, my tools are all over the place from moving. Oh my God, dude, really? Oh, I hate when people blow my phone up like this. It drives me nuts. Maybe these little snips will be good enough. What do you know? They'll walk you to the rescue with the tiny little snips cutting these big old straps. Ugh. So this is the Funmat HT Enhanced. What's enhanced about it? It didn't used to have, apparently, the bed leveling. It didn't used to have a lot of more modern features that it has now. So that's the enhanced part compared to the original. And there's also some additional heat protection. I don't know if it gets any hotter than the original or not, but I didn't have the original, so I don't know. All right. Dear customer, please inspect the package before signing. Well, it's a little late for that, isn't it? Okay. That doorway there, I'm gonna make that a wall and open it up a little bit more. Whoa. There's stuff on that side. All right, let's see what we got in these goodie boxes. Oh, that's a good looking machine. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, these are probably build plates, it looks like. Are they? Yeah. Okay, so it comes with 2 build plates. That's something I had heard before. So why is this so much different sized than this? Why did I get such a big carbon fiber? Oh, wow, I'm gonna have to call Vision Miner. This is literally, it said on the slip that it's supposed to be for the Funmat HT, and it seemed big to me, but I hadn't seen it yet, and it's definitely big. And it's not like I could make 2 out of it, it's just big in all the wrong ways. Anyway, all right, let's see what's next. I didn't order it from Vision Miner, I ordered it from Matterhackers. And I ordered it from them over kind of a trivial thing. I ordered, I don't know if I ever said anything about it in other videos, but I ordered some filaments from them, some higher end filaments. And one of them was a Kevlar. And it advertised to be as easy as PLA to print. And it was, I had just finished printing ABS glass fiber, PA6 glass fiber, PA12 carbon fiber, and this I couldn't get to print properly for the life of me. And they ended up refunding me, and you know, I hadn't used much of it. I only tried it like twice, once on each kind of printer, and they refunded me in full, and they didn't give me a hard time about it, so I gave them the business when I went to buy this. And this is an SD card reader, so I assume this is to transfer firmware updates and whatnot. These are some wire snips, wire dikes, some precision tweezers, it looks like. Straight precision tweezers. I usually use the angle, but those look pretty decent. Some small wrenches, which I have certain wrenches that I use. This is like a USB cable, like for a printer, for like a standard printer. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of USB they call that. Okay. here is the machine. How do we open this? Oh, it's got to be turned. There we go. Okay. This is a little, one of those pins like you open your SD card or your SIM card on your iPhone. And then this is a quick start guide. And then there's a bunch of foam packed around it. Let me let you guys see how they have it packed inside, because they have it packed pretty well. So you see they have styrofoam pretty much around the whole tool head, locking it in place. And I'm sure there's some screws and stuff in there too, but they have it pretty well fastened down. Let me see if you guys can see what I'm doing over here. You should be able to. I'm going to tip you down a little bit. Okay. A big old packet of silica on this side. Big old thing of silica. This is where you put the filament in this side. I'll show you guys in a minute, but on this side this is a whole separate chamber for the filament outside of the actual print chamber that has its own controlled temperature. And then I'm going to open the front here. Let me turn it a little bit up. Let me turn it towards you actually. It's not as bad as people said. They said it was like really brutally heavy, which it is heavy, but it's not as bad as they made it sound. That's a lot of styrofoam they put in here to protect this thing. Oh yeah, this is well insulated in here, and there's two big chamber heaters. These are both big chamber heaters, and this is fully insulated all the way around. That's nice. Can I get my X to go down? I mean my Z to go down? Let's see. All right, let me look at that quick start guide and see where they have screws and if there's an easy way to do this. It should have two hot ends. This comes with two hot ends. I don't know if I missed a box. Let's see. Oh, I definitely missed a box. This is the heaviest one. How the hell did I do that? Let's see what's in this box. And at least they give you two glass build plates. Even though I should have a carbon fiber one, and I don't have the right size. Oh, here we go. Here's a set of Allen keys. Some cleaning, some nozzles, nozzle needles. These actually look like decent nozzle needles. These look like not the cheap ones that come with everything else. Okay. Oh, this is the OEM extruder. So I'm curious to see the difference. Oh, and then here's a roll. It did come with a roll of ABS too, that's true. Yep, this is black ABS, a kilogram, which is always a cool bonus. Okay, so, oh yeah, there's a big difference between this and the one I got. So, I mean, well, this is metal. So their pancake stepper on the other one is very small in comparison. So you see the difference in size of the pancake stepper, but this one has the front part a lot bigger. But look at that! Look how small that stepper is compared to that. It's pretty significant. I'm not sure why the front part's so much bigger. And this one is adjustable too. I have to read up on this one, how to adjust it, because there is an adjustment, but I don't know exactly how you adjust it. The filament goes in right there. Oh, you can't actually see you can't really see it. You gotta open it up. Okay, but this is actually surprisingly good quality. I'm second guessing whether or not I needed that at this point. But I mean, I haven't obviously used it. If I don't need it, maybe I won't keep it. We'll see, because that thing was like 400 bucks. So yeah, here's one hot end. And yeah, they do take the typical Ender 3 type heating element, as well as thermistor. So they're, I mean, the same size. I've heard that they're completely compatible. From research I did before I ordered it, and I've had that confirmed a couple of times. So it's got probably one hot end in it, and then a 16 gigabyte SD card, and it's not a micro SD, it's a large SD. Couple extra fuses. There must be fuses in there somewhere. Few nozzles. This is a steel 0.4. Let's see what else we got. Hold on. A steel 0.4, 0.6, and another 0. So 2.4s and a 0.6. And this is an extra gear for the extruder, I imagine. Oh, and then this is the leveling stick they were talking about. This is to get your Z height. Yeah. Okay. And power cord, some hot gloves, which I'll more likely use these for my smelting pot than I will in here. But I might put one of my lighter sets from there in here, because this thing does get incredibly hot. And then oh nice, a 7mm screwdriver. That's gonna definitely come in handy. And it looks like a pretty decent scraper. Metal scraper, which I've tried to get away from on the other printers, but I think with glass and carbon fiber, I should probably be using metal. Okay, so I think that was the last box of goodies there. Let's see. I'm pretty sure, because I'm sure the other hot end is on the machine. All right, so that's it. Okay, now let's open that quick start guide back up, pick up where we left off, and try to see if there's an easier way to open this up. Remove the packaging, unpackage the printer and accessories from the cardboard box, and then take the printer and accessory tray. Gently place the printer on a flat, solid, and sturdy platform. Step 1, connect the power cable to your printer. Step 2, lower down the build plate by clicking settings. Okay, so I have to turn it on to do that. All right, so I'll just give it temporary power to do this, because I have a huge long power strip that has like 12 plugs on it. It's not your typical surge protector or extender or whatever. It's a here, I'll show you. This is what's going to be behind my printers. So this all the way from there, all the way down there, all outlets. So I'm going to have plenty of outlets. And in this building, I have plenty of power. I have 600 amps of 3-phase power. So I can have any power I need anywhere I need it. Which is definitely, it was a bonus that came with the building, because a few owners before me, the phone company owned this building, and they did all that. So I'm sure they didn't intend on selling it at that point, but things go so up and down with companies that big, who the heck knows, and they probably didn't even feel it. Okay, there's my power connection. So this is going to get plugged in right there. And then I'll use that short high voltage extension cord to get it into the plug. go. My microphone just popped out of the clip. It sure did. Let's get that. Sorry about that. I must have made the wire too short. I don't like it very loose. Hanging all over the place. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's turn this on. They put a piece of tape over the power button, so you got to take that off before you turn it on. All right. Okay, so lower down the build plate by clicking settings, other, settings, other, lower down the build plate to the bottom, build plate to the top, okay. There we go, it's going right down. Wow, that seems surprisingly solid, honestly. Okay. All right, return. Let's see what the next step is. Settings, build plate to the bottom, that's what I did, all right. Okay, install the printer. Step 1, power off the printer. Okay. Use Allen key and socket wrench to remove the 4 screws to free the X and Y axis. Okay, so let's see where those are. I gotta get the rest of this foam out, which I could probably do now. All right. Yep, there we go. Okay, and yes, there's most certainly a hot end on here. This hose, I'm not sure what it goes to. I don't think this is liquid cooled. Oh, that's for the filament. What am I doing? What am I talking about? That's how the filament comes in. Okay, so the Allen keys. I'll get my own Allen screwdrivers in a minute. Once I see where these are. Oh, that's for those 2 locks right there. Okay, so I do need that 7mm wrench they give you. And then what size Allen key is it? It doesn't tell you. Because I can't exactly see it. Let's see. It's probably a 2.5 or 3. I think it's a 3. All right, well, let's use these just because they're handy, and I can undo it with the screwdriver anyway. Oh, well, I got 2. No, here's 3. They have a 3. I think it is a 3. Yep, it's a 3. So this is kind of cool. There's rails going forward and backward. I'll show you guys in a minute. I'll bring you over here. That's pretty cool. That's the first printer. There's usually like 2 going one way and then just belt drive the other way. But then again, I haven't. This is my first, $6,000-$7,000 printer. So they put these little clamps with the rubber grommet on them on each side of the tool head on the linear rails, so that it doesn't move. So they definitely keep it safe during transit, because that tool head can't move at all, and with all that cushioning around it, as long as the box is handled somewhat carefully with all the padding and being locked into place, I don't see there being a problem with this thing being transported. How many more is there? Is there? Oh yeah, they're on all four sides. There's two more. I'm just going to take all the screws and nuts off first and washers, and then I'll pull those clamps off. And I don't know if I'm going to, maybe I'll do an easy print. Maybe I'll do something with that ABS that it came with. I don't know that I'm going to be doing a long enough video to show you guys the whole print, but I can definitely start it and then show you the results and let you see it printing. Or I could just do it. The higher end, I got the ABS glass fiber. I got 2 kilograms of that. But there's some other, like the Peak and the PEKK and the ultra filaments that I ordered haven't come in yet for some reason. I don't know why. They had them in stock and they just didn't get sent out with, in a in stock time frame. So I don't know how I ended up with the printer first, but I did. Okay, so I'm not a real big instruction guy. I don't usually look at instructions, honestly. But I am, only because oh, that's good. That's true. So I can use other hot ends completely because, oh no, so this is the shock part. So you can use other heat blocks, but so this has like a shock absorber almost. Here, let me just open it and I'll show you where you can actually see. Hold on. So you see this? See that movement? That's how, there's no BL touch. This is the BL touch, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's actually really cool that they do it like that. That sounds probably better than any of the other ways it's being done. But these hot ends are 200 bucks. I thought the whole hot end was exchangeable. I know obviously the heating block, the heating element, and the thermistor all are, but you just have to connect it to this wire, this connector. But I'm not sure if the spring's in there. Well, I have to take it apart to be able to know for sure, because I could probably put another hot end going through this. I mean, I machined parts and I got a Spider hot end to fit in my QIDI X-Max 3, but the firmware doesn't allow it to work, and QIDI didn't want to give me that information and said I would void my warranty. So I even though I CNC'd the part and had it fitting perfectly, I left it alone and I said, you know what, after a year I'll try it. Where's that quick start guide? What do I do next? Okay, disassemble the nozzle set cover. Okay, connect the motor connector to P7 on the pin board and fix the cables with a cable tie. Okay, oh that's right. It doesn't come with the extruder installed. So that's what I need to do. All right, let me get my little precision screwdriver. It's right here. There's a 2. I need a 2.5 millimeter. I'll grab a 1.5 just in case. All right, 2, 2.5, 1.5, and let me grab a 3 too. Just because those other ones were 3s, there might be more. What do I have in here now? That's a 2.5. That's a 2. Oh, so did I get a 2.5? Nope, I got 2 2s. Hold on. Where is the 2.5? Like I said, sorry about the usually I know right where my tools are, or well, that's probably a little excessive. I generally kind of sometimes know where all my tools are. I know generally the vicinity that they're in at the very least. Right now, everything is all over the place, so it's just from moving everything and expanding that area. And I tried to do it separate with the wall up, and I got as far. I mean, I did do it that way as far as I could. And I just, once I got to the part where I was going to epoxy the floor, I didn't want to have to, you know, make a mess on the epoxy again. So I just took it down then. But that was gonna be the last thing. As you know, that would have been optimal. Where the heck is my 2.5 millimeter? You know what? I have more in here. Alright, where is that one? It's all the way up on this side. Oh, this is cool. It's got all the sides. You know what? Let me put these all back. I'll just take that with me. Should have done that in the first place. Okay, 2. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. I had the damn 2.5 in my hand the whole time. Oh no, I needed a 3 and a 2.5, so I didn't have everything. Okay, that's a 3. Yeah, I have it all right here in this little kit. Alright, let's see, let's get the 3 and the 2.5 because it looks like one of those. Start with 2.5, I'll let you know what size it is. Oh, I gotta take these things off too. You just gotta stretch those out a little bit and then they come right around. Because they actually were locking that tool head in place. Okay, there's the clamps. Alright, now they want me to open the 4 screws for the X and Y axis. That's already done, right? No, is it? The 4 screws for the X and Y axis. Yeah, I already took those off. Install the motor on top of the extruder and ensure the upper PEEK tube is secure. This tube is actually made out of PEEK. You believe that? This is made out of PEEK. Wow. Oh, that's a freaking strong hose. This is a stronger, holy shit. So that's how strong that stuff is. Holy mackerel. I can't even begin to start bending it. I'm eager to see if a pair of pliers could bend it. That's pretty damn strong. All right, so show me. This is coming off from which side? The extruder isn't in there, so it must go in this part. So this has to probably come off. Yep, 2.5. I've gotten good at guessing metric sizes, and I've actually come to like metric measurements because so many of the things that I use, like the air guns and the 3D printers, are in metric. And I actually like metric because it's more precise. There's 25 millimeters in an inch. And then when you get into microns, that's 1,000th of a millimeter, which is 25 times smaller than an inch. So it's actually a much more precise measurement. All right, here's this cover. Come on, there we go. Okay. So now the hot end is exposed. And let's see, where does it want this thing to go? Install the motor on top of the extruder. The motor on top of the extruder. And ensure the upper peak tube is inserted into its position. Disassemble the nozzle set cover. Connect the motor connector to P7 on the pin board and fix the cables with a wire tie. Okay, simple enough. So I don't know. I have to see a little bit more about this because I honestly like that the pancake stepper is a lot flatter, but I mean this has adjustable tension on it and it's all metal. So and this gear right here is plastic. So yes, it's CNC machined metal because that's exactly what my aluminum looks like when I CNC machine it. But I'm not real impressed with that gear sticking out in plastic in a 500-degree machine. And this one doesn't have any plastic coming out. And this is the one that came with it. So this is probably not going to be hanging around, to be honest with you. Okay, so this gets installed. It's not very clear. Okay, that is that, and there's the spring, and this is going just above that. Oh, okay, so it goes right there. Is that right? Oh, yeah, no, it goes right up. Yeah, it does. It goes up here. Let's run the wire through there. I wonder why they don't send it with the extruder installed. I mean, not that I mind doing it, it's simple, but it's just curious to me. Okay, let's take this peak hose, and I guess, well, is it going to go any further? No, apparently that's as far. Oh. Let's see something. Let me get my little flashlight that lets me see in spots like that. I have a tiny little endoscope that I bought to see into places like that too. But this flashlight, it does wonders when you have to see in a narrow spot like that, like down a gun barrel or in a place like this. Okay, it seems to just be a gasket there. Am I upside down? No, I can't be. That's where the mounting holes are. Yeah, it can't be. It's got to be like that. Okay, that's got to be it. Yeah, let me tighten it up first before I put that on. And the screws for it are right here. Oh, this is a piece of, well, that's not no Capricorn stuff. That's some seriously hard stuff right there. I don't know what this is. Oh, this must be the tube they're talking about putting it in its spot. This must go through the extruder. Doesn't it? Oh, it goes up this side. I think. Let me look at this freaking thing. It doesn't show one picture of where this goes. And honestly, this is not really, these directions are, I mean, everything's here, but like a photo of where exactly, or a description of where exactly this is supposed to go would be nice. I mean, it's easy enough to figure it out, and I will, but they could just write one line and I'd be able to figure it out a lot easier. Okay. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. This is why I do these videos, because when something like this happens, just like this, on anything that I'm doing, I go ahead and look it up on YouTube, and I can't tell you how many times one of you guys out there have saved my butt by having the right information I needed, and I appreciate that, and that's why I'm doing these videos. Intamsys Funmat HT extruder installation. Rebuilding the hot end, replace extruder. No, replace the extruder motor. I just want to see how do you initially put it in. Extruder installation on initial setup. Come on, man. Okay, unboxing with Vision Miner. I'm sure they show you. Vision Miner seems to be really good.
For everything they need. Food, treats.
With I probably should have got it from them. My loyalty made me get it from Matterhackers, and I don't regret it. I mean, they got it to me. Oh no, this is the Funmat Pro. This is, they don't get as high a temperature as this. And they don't get any hotter than the other printers I have. I mean, I'm sure they, I mean, they're engineering level printers, so I'm sure that they have a different level of precision. But they don't do any higher temperature than a Bamboo or a QIDI. So. So I talked to this guy when I called there. He's actually seemed like a nice kid. And one of his colleagues was in the air guns too. I said I'm going to send him a suppressor.
Discoloration on the glass plate and on the part itself. This is totally normal. The glass plate washes off easily with water, and the part itself consists in color after the annealing process. As soon as you remove the part, put it straight into the annealing chamber. You anneal the parts for about 3.5 hours.
So this you have to do with peak. And the annealing process, you have to bake it for 350 at 350 for
to cover it.
However long he said, 3 or 4 hours.
As you can see here, we're using a skin between the part and the support with one layer of separation. This gives us a better surface finish on the bottom of the part, and it still comes off pretty easily. This part was printed using our simplified 3D peak profile.
Alright, come on, dude. This ain't gonna show me what I need to see. This is the wrong video.
This model.
No, it's definitely not. So I hate that when you can't find the video that's what you need. That's why I try to put in my description everything I'm doing in the video. I do my best to get, as I can with that, and hopefully it's helping you guys, because nobody likes to watch a whole video to find out that it doesn't have the information they need.
Express access. Then make sure the motors are off. Take the Allen key and remove the screws as shown in the video. You can then take out the cover part and start removing the extruder.
What do you mean removing the extruder? There's no extruder in it. Oh, okay, so it goes from the hot end into the extruder. That's where it is now. You see in this video?
Replace it with a new one, it is exactly the same operation.
If you guys can see, there's the hot end, and there's that tube that's in my hand.
Put the screws back to their initial position.
And this is not flexible. This is not like one of those Capricorn tubes at all. It's more rigid than that peak. It could be also peak and just shorter and more narrow, and that's what's making it feel that rigid, but it's very rigid. So I'm gonna go ahead and do what they just showed and put it between the extruder and the hot end. So it's gonna go right in the hot end right here. There we go. And let me make sure it's lining up. Oh, there we go. Right there. Okay, there we go. That's what I needed. Okay. Now we can screw these in. I have these 2.5. Nope, 3. Okay. Oh, look at the spring on that plate. Wow, that's cool. Okay. Alright, one more. There we go. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't cross-threading. All right, that one's nice and snug. And this one needs to be tightened a little more. Okay, now they're both nice and snug. All right. I'm still curious as to what the difference with this one is. That would go to that, and then tube would go in here. And what's with this plastic gear, and what is so special about this thing when it's supposed to be adjustable, but I don't see an adjustment. I really don't see an adjustment. I'm I'm gonna have to look into that, and I don't know that I'm gonna actually use this extruder. I'm probably not going to at this point, because frankly this one has more metal on it than that. It's funny, the kid at Vision Miner said that to me, that you probably didn't need that, and I'm like, well, it was advertised that it's the best one out there, and I just spent a lot of money on a printer. I wanted to get the best stuff I can for it, and he didn't just seem to think it was necessary. Now I know why. Okay, so yep, that's gonna go there, and this one goes all the way over there. So this is gonna go further on here. What am I hitting? There we go. There we go. That also has to go through the middle of it. I did put the 2.5 in, okay. And then this housing for the hot end, it goes around the hot end, and it just has 2 screws, and there's just 2 slits in it. And the slits are where the screws sit, and then you just put the screw up into the bottom of the slit and then clamp it down, and that's that. So I think we're ready to rock and roll here. So the only thing I have to do is contact Vision Miner and see why it is that I have a plate that's so far off from the size of this plate. It probably was a mistake. Maybe somebody knew or something, but I know those guys know what they're doing, especially with high temperature, and not a lot of other people do. Like even admittedly Matterhackers, when I was talking to them, they exclaimed how they don't specialize in high temperature, and that's exactly what Vision Miner does. So I'm going to reach out to them about the plate, but I've also bought their nanopolymer, 2 of the large bottles already. So that's that stuff works amazing. Even on like I did PC on the QIDI printer, a big print for the things that are mounting those Milwaukee containers from inside the packouts that I didn't use in the packouts. And I made a big board. That board that's holding them up, and this was all one. And it stuck like crazy, and it's a pretty big print, as you can see. That stuck perfectly. I mean, it was hard to get it off. And then but it did come off, and it didn't leave any residue. Nothing got damaged. It actually worked really well. That stuff is I don't know how they came up with it, but it works perfectly. It's easy to clean off, and it doesn't leave any residue or stains. It's pretty impressive compared to glue stick, that your whole build plate is like disgusting for a long time, and then every time you do it you're adding more and you got to clean it over. But anyways, I'm gonna put all this stuff away, get the printer up here, and then maybe I'll do one last segment with it actually printing so you guys can see it printing. But and then I have to finish up this room, which I'm not going to be able to do tonight. I'm going to go home and get some rest, and I'll do it tomorrow. But after that, the next 3D printing video is going to be, I'm going to test so this is a Magic Mill that I just received. And this seemed like, it's about $150 or something like that. And it's a lot smaller than I imagined it would be by the pictures. You can actually only fit 2, maybe 3 rolls in it, which I'm kind of disappointed about. I thought I'd be able to fit more. That 5-gallon bucket's going to fit a lot more than that. And I wanted to, part of the test I wanted to do was to heat them in here and then evacuate the vapors in there even more than in here. And then also, like I said earlier, I have a fixed dry, and then I have the Creality one that's recently come out. So I'm going to try it with both, and then in this, and then to the vacuum chamber, and then from either of those to the vacuum chamber with and without desiccant. I'll try it a few different ways and see what I come up with. But I don't have a whole lot of spools of filament that are going to be needing to be dried, because as you can see right behind this, I have 2 vacuum packing machines, and I have tons of vacuum pack bags. So every time I'm done using a filament, I vacuum pack it with desiccant. So it's not often that I have wet filament. But I'll let some get wet. I'll leave it out, and I'll leave it out for a couple days before I do that. But I'll get a thorough testing video to you guys, because I saw some. There were some that were pretty thorough, but then like there was one part that I was looking for that they didn't get a chance to do and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do one that has all the parts. So I'll get that up as soon as I can get all of it done for you guys. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you're interested in a printer like this, you'll know what you're in for. And that's it for today. All right. Well, it's not it for today, but it's it for right now. Thank you. Bye-bye. What's going on, guys? Okay, so I just got back from a few days away from my anniversary. When I did the last video, I had just unboxed this printer, the Intamsys Funmat high temperature, and had been doing this renovation, this addition to my smaller workshop, and it's pretty much done now. It was pretty much done before I left, but the printer. So when I think where the last video left off, I had started a print and it seemed to be going good. It ended up clogging, and it ended up clogging again and clogging again and clogging again. So my feeling is, so I'm going to show you how this hot end design is. And this one, so it's got one of the regular ones in there. I did modify. Well, I didn't modify the actual hot end that came with it. I just added, I made a spider, an E3D spider hot end fit this piece, which is, so this is how it levels the bed, if you can see that. You see how it moves up, and then it has a little limit switch. So I adapted this to fit the top of this hot end instead of this heat sink. So this would normally thread up into there. So what I did is I just tapped this. Oops. Well, that's all right. I can take it apart there. All right. So actually, no, I kind of need to get the next section apart to show you. Still figuring out where all my tools are now. Excuse me 1 second, almost there. All right. So this is the part that I tapped. Well, I actually had to tap two parts. Let me aim this down a little bit. So this is sprung. Hold on a minute. Let me get you down a little further so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so this part is sprung right here, right? That's how it goes. It bounces up and down like that. So this sits on that guide, and then this is the top of the regular spider hot end, and I just machined it to fit. I put it on the lathe and machined it down to fit in here, where normally there looks like aluminum heat sink would go. So this is what theirs looks like, and it goes over that, and then it goes up and down like that, which it doesn't actually go that far once it's threaded in, because it has to thread in there tight. And then there's a little piece of, they put peak tubing, so it actually only goes a little bit, just like the one that I did. So I just did the same thing. So this was the end that the PTFE tube would have gone into. So what I did is I machined this out in the middle, and then I threaded it for the end of this. I'll show you what I had to thread onto. So they use a piece of PEEK tubing. It's the material that this printer can print, PEEK, and they use that for the tubing, which is all well and good, but I don't really like a lot of that I don't like a lot of that tubing, because I think that's why I'm getting all these clogs. And I've finally managed not to get any clogs right now, and this is with PLA. I changed some settings, and I also, so this is with it put back together with this. So you see it's got the same amount of play. It's totally straight. Everything is tapped right. You know, this is gonna go right on there. The only thing is the bracket that holds, there's like a, so when this is in here, right? When this is in here, the bottom of this just kind of sits on that plate, and the only thing that comes through is the nozzle. So that's not going to work here. So I'm going to open that up. I ordered a new one of that plate so that I could modify it to fit this, and I'm not sure if I'm going to probably cut it around to go up into here, like sit underneath this part a little bit, the red part, right before the block, the heater block, even though the heater block is in the other one. So maybe I'll have it go underneath the heater block. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to see how it sits on here first before I do anything permanent. But I ordered a new piece anyway, so I'll still have the original, because what it comes down to is I don't know, because the two hot ends that I got, when I did some research online, the Funmat HT Enhanced, which is supposed to be what I ordered, what I got. It's what I ordered. It's supposed to be what I got. I don't think this is a Funmat HT Enhanced. I think it's a regular Funmat HT, or it's as they were switching or something, because it has most of the features. It does have the self-leveling bed. It does have the 3 screws instead of 4, but it doesn't have an Ethernet connection, which the Enhanced is supposed to have. It doesn't have any difference in the hot ends than the regular HT. So I got 2 hot ends that are literally identical. The only difference was the nozzle. So I'm trying to straighten that out with Matterhackers right now. Whatever, you know, I sent them, when I got back today, I sent them a picture of the label. I haven't heard back yet, but it was in the afternoon already today when I got it to them. So I'm sure I'll hear from them tomorrow, I hope. But, you know, I mean, I've got it printing, and I've got it printing well, but this is PLA. I don't know how it's going to print with, you know, a high temperature material yet. But it was even clogging printing this, because the heat was traveling up, and don't even get me started on this Bondtech extruder that's all metal. You can't even use it. The filament is literally melting at the top, because that all metal, it's not even all metal. There's a big plastic gear sticking out of the side of it, and this one is all metal, but it's steel. There's this machined aluminum. So steel transfers heat, but it doesn't transfer it nearly as fast, and it doesn't cool down as quick. Aluminum cools down quicker, but it also doesn't transfer heat nearly as fast. So I mean, this with the fans going is not. It's gonna you know, dull down the temperature before it even gets past the aluminum heating block. But with an aluminum extruder, it's absorbing all the heat. And it was getting so hot, the filament was literally melting, and it couldn't extrude. So it's just a ridiculous concept. I don't know why. If you're going to make it out of all metal, it's got to be steel. It's just not going to work. This thing gets too hot. Anyways, so, but the printer is doing very well. I mean, this print is coming out. This will be the second one that I've gotten to completely finish. The first one was, you know, messed up in a few places, so I wouldn't even use it to evaluate against anything else. But this is printing at 150% of what its speed was programmed at, as from Cura, because apparently this printer, the software is based off of Cura, or the same concept, the same firmware, the same software, the same platform, and it works really well with that. And this is with the original extruder, which is obviously much better than the Bondtech one. That almost $400 extruder just throw your money in the trash if you're planning on buying it, because it's useless for this printer. It's complete, and that was with PLA, not with even ABS or anything with a closed chamber. It's just ridiculous. I can only imagine what it's going to do when the chamber's closed and it's 90, 100 degrees Celsius. It's just stupid, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think that's just my opinion. I think something that's made for a printer that gets this hot, you can't make it in aluminum that gets hot enough to melt the filament before it's going into the extruder. Anyways, I put a thermometer, hygrometer in the filament chamber. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's 32% humidity, and that's what this is open, but this is a separate chamber. So this is separated by glass right there up top. It's completely separate, but it's 73.7 degrees in there with, there's no heating on in the chamber right now. And there's very little heating on the plate. I think it's like 35C or 40C. So, and that's just PLA plus, regular PLA plus. I'm gonna do a higher temperature filament before I leave tonight with the same overhang test. So this one looks like it's gonna finish properly. I'll show you the one that didn't finish properly. I mean, it kind of did, but it's not, you know, I mean, it was messing up, and I had to get really used to the printer. It's just shit. That's the best I got before. That's the best I got before right now. Which this is by far the best. Yeah, this is coming out better than the other printers, really. But I also put a Diamondback nozzle in it, and I did a few things. I did a few things to get rid of some of that PEEK tubing. I don't, you know, PEEK this is meant to print PEEK. So how is there PEEK tubing in the same thing that's printing PEEK? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is like an Ender 3. Like that's their design for the hot end, to have the tubing going right to the heat break where it's supposed to cool enough not to melt. But I don't know, with a chamber temperature like this, and with a bed temperature like this, and a nozzle temperature like this, you're talking 1.5 plus times everything on the Ender in an enclosed heated chamber if somebody were to do all that. It's just not, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why this is the design, but it is. So I think that the hot end changed in the enhanced. I don't have an answer to that yet, so I definitely will update you guys on that, because at this point I don't even know if I'm keeping this printer. That's why I'm not putting anything in it that's not original, because if I got the wrong printer, and if the new printer is not going to be much better, I'm just going to get a different high temperature printer. I don't care if I have to spend more money. I want something that works. I mean, this one is working okay now with PLA, but I mean, it's definitely the wrong hot end, because I've seen photos. Matter of fact, I took screenshots that I sent to them to show them the difference, and this is from their own site, to show them the difference between what I have and what I should have. So this is the original design, right? And I don't have this printed PEEK shroud. I have this black one, but you see the difference in the hot end? I have that regular square heat block instead of that big beefy one with the metal instead of a PEEK tube. The PEEK tube is still up on top, but this is square instead of circular. I mean, it looks like a much better design to me. It really does. So hopefully this is what I'm supposed to and going to have, and then this will print properly. But I mean, if not, I likely will be shopping for another printer, unfortunately, because it's a pain in the ass, because this thing is heavy as hell, and getting it in here and setting it up, And then, you know, all the time I'm spending troubleshooting it and machining parts to fit it that I haven't even put in yet because I don't know what's going on. It's been very frustrating, and I mean, it's a really good looking printer, and I mean, if it worked properly, I wouldn't have a problem, but just the Ethernet connection alone is kind of a problem for me because there's no Wi-Fi connection. So without the Ethernet connection, you don't have Wi-Fi. Connecting it via USB does no good because you can't control anything from that. You can do firmware updates, that's it. You can't actually send the print to it. You can't do anything remotely. You have to actually put it on an SD card, take the SD card out and put it in the printer. That's how you send the print. With an Ethernet connection, you could at least use it hard lined, which that's fine. I can run a wire to it, but not being able to even do that is kind of over the top to me. I mean, for a $7,000 printer, it's a little excessive not to have any of that stuff. And then on top of it, and even on the label that they wanted a picture of, it doesn't say Funmat HT Enhanced. It just says Funmat HT. So I have a feeling I got one as they were starting to make these changes, and I got some of the changes. I don't know what happened or how it happened, honestly. I'm guessing, but that's what it looks like at this point. So I'm waiting to see what happens with them. You know, I'm waiting to hear back from them. Hopefully we come to an amicable, peaceful resolution. I'm sure we will, but it's just a little frustrating, you know, not knowing what's going on. But hopefully I'll know later today. I mean tomorrow, rather. Hopefully tomorrow when they get back to me, I'll know what's going on. But this is going to be done in about 32 minutes. It's just doing the overhang part now, which the other stuff is. The spheres are good. The small sticks that are sticking up are not so great, but the rest, other than that, everything else, I mean, I can't really see it that well. Let's see, hold on, I have a little step stool here for exactly this purpose. Yes, yeah, it seems like it doesn't have the easiest time with small letters. They're not very clear, and I mean, it's just not. I mean, this is supposed to have a 12.5 micron accuracy, and it's not even printing as good as the Bamboo right now. And that's with a diamond tip nozzle, and you know, it's just. I'm not real impressed. So I hope that I got the wrong printer and that I can get the right printer and it can do what it's supposed to do so that I don't have to shop for a whole new printer. But if I do, I've already been eyeing the Create Bot 430. That can go up to 420 on the nozzle, so it's only 30 degrees difference from this. Which, you know, this I haven't even printed in. I haven't even successfully printed ABS in it yet. So, and I've tried ABS more than anything, and it didn't print well. But then again, nothing was printing well at that point. I don't know. I think the higher temperature in the closed chamber at that time, with the way this hot end is, was a big part of that. But then again, other people have had success with it. I don't know what to make of it. All I know is it's not what it's cracked up to be as far as I can see so far. But then again, this might be the wrong version of this printer, so I don't want to form judgment this early without knowing for sure what printer I got, and if there's modifications that were made to the newer one that I don't have, which I don't have an Ethernet connection and there's supposed to be one, so there's obviously that. But aside from that, I don't know what more I'm missing other than the hot end is clearly different. I don't have that type of hot end, neither one of them. So I've got to find all this stuff out. And the fact is that, you know, like I've dealt with Vision Miner on a few things since I bought this on some parts. And yeah, they sent me the wrong build plate. They're going to send me the right one. And it's going to take a couple weeks because they don't have it in stock, which sucks. But they also have been incredibly helpful on problems with a printer that they didn't even sell me. So, and they're being helpful on problems with a printer they didn't sell me that they know about, and Matterhackers doesn't really know about. I mean, they were upfront about that. Like I said before, they don't specialize in high temperature printing, but I don't know. I mean, the sales guy that I dealt with has been very responsive and very helpful, but I mean, it's just a limit on what they know how to do and what they have experience with, and I wouldn't have had that limit if I had bought it from a company that specializes in high temperature printers and materials. So in hindsight, I should have gone with Vision Miners. Even, you know, I could have given the business to Matterhackers in another way. It shouldn't have been with a high temperature specific printer, I don't think. So anyways, I don't think I'll make that mistake again. But I don't know that I'll be buying another high temperature printer very soon, other than, you know, probably exchanging this one, so I won't have a choice but to exchange it with them, because I already bought this one from them. But you know, if I have to buy another one, or my recommendation is, if you guys want a really high temperature printer that is capable of those kind of materials like PEEK and PEC and Ultim and all that kind of stuff, go with a high temperature company that knows when there's a problem, they know how to fix it. I mean, you don't have to be calling a third party company that you didn't buy it from, getting advice, because it's an awkward position. But I mean, I am buying stuff from them, so it's not like I'm not giving them any business. But I didn't buy a $7,000 printer from them, or $6,000 printer from them. So anyways, that's my advice. I mean, I don't know anything conclusively yet. All I do know is that I don't have the right hot end, and I don't have the right features and functions on this printer. I mean, it is a very nice printer, well-made printer. It's solid, and the heat chamber is insulated well. It does get up to the temperature it's supposed to. I haven't tried to print anything at that high of a temperature. I've had it heat up to that temperature to level the bed at the proper temperature, but like I said, it's just been a frustrating ordeal overall. So this has been going on. It took like 3 weeks to get it, and then I've been dealing with all this stuff for multiple weeks more. It's been I'm being very mild to say it's been very frustrating. So anyways, hopefully it has a good conclusion, and I can come back to you with some good news for the conclusion of all this, and you know, I can have another good thing to say about Matterhackers, because I feel like overall they're a great company, and I don't want to have anything but good things to say. And they've been great so far through this ordeal, even though, you know, there's been some mishap, but they've been very helpful to resolve it. So I don't see any of this stuff being a problem. I just don't like not knowing what's going on, and I don't know what's going on right now. So anyways, so I will, this video has gotten to be pretty long because I have several clips put together between expanding the workshop and then unboxing the printer and all that stuff. So I'll probably just end this video with this clip, and then I will post a follow-up video. Or maybe I'll just show you this finished quickly tomorrow before I edit it. But either way, it won't be much longer than this, and then I'll do a follow-up video once I actually come to a conclusion with the printer. All right? Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm not sure why, but the camera, I guess I hit the button maybe when I was turning it, but anyways, so Vision Miner, they specialize in high temperature printing. So this printer has a nozzle that gets up to 450 degrees Celsius, a print chamber that gets up to 160, and the bed gets up to 200. So it's substantial. They're substantial temperatures. It's actually very hot. So I mean that's almost as hot as an oven. So I mean, it is as hot as an oven, just not you know, an oven could probably get higher, but it's hot. It's everything gets extremely hot in there. You got to actually wear those like welding gloves to take the build plate out. So anyways, it seems to be printing really well. The first layer looks really good. I'm definitely impressed with how it's coming out so far, and it's very consistent. So tomorrow I'm going to do a short clip and show you guys how this comes out, and I have the same thing. It's the overhang test with all the different dimensions, and then an overhang with each amount of degrees. I think it goes all the way up to 75. I have one made with the QIDI printer. I have one made with the bamboo printer, and then I'm gonna have one made with this printer, and we can look at them all next to each other, and then I'm gonna wrap this video up and I'll put it up, and I can get back to the other videos that I've been trying to get done, the testing and the splitting of the bullets and all that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I will see you tomorrow for a look at this print when it's done, and see how it comes out. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, I'm gonna wrap these lights up and get my butt to bed so I can get some sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Hey guys, so this is gonna be just a very short clip to summarize this video. I bought the Intamsys Funmat HT quote unquote enhanced. I don't know if it was actually the enhanced. The label in the back that the customer service or the tech support asked me to send a picture of, which they haven't gotten back to me yet. They haven't been the most responsive. The sales guy that sold me the printer has been really responsive, and he always communicates. But the tech support team, whose hands it was in after I had all these failures with it, was not so communicative. They asked for some information, and I sent it, and I haven't heard back. But it's packaged up in the box, ready to go back, and I've already ordered its replacement. So I have to warn against the Intamsys Funmat. I don't know if other people are going to have success with it, and I don't have any experience dealing with the company because apparently their American support is almost non-existent. Because I couldn't even get a hold of anybody but as another third-party distributor when I inquired about an estimate from Intamsys themselves. I got a call back from another different place like Matterhackers. I don't even remember the name of the place that called me. I have the email address, but anyways, they're not a company you can really reach. So that being said, that alone is usually enough, and it makes me feel different about QIDI. Not that I didn't feel different already after the experience I had with their customer support, really turning my opinion around of them, because they really backed me up and really helped me out a lot, and the printer's actually working really good right now. But the thing is that its limit is 350. Even at close to 350, I'm cracking the ceramics on the hot end, because it probably should be, a copper hot end at that temperature, which all of them are at that temperature, a solid metal hot end. But also the fact that this had an extruder that's got two pieces of PEEK tube in between the extruder and the hot end that the filament is supposed to go through, and everything is metal, so that heat is going to transfer. And it's going through another form of plastic, the same plastic it's supposed to be printing through that same hot end. I don't know what would have happened if I tried that temperature. I mean, some people have printed okay with it, but also a lot of stuff that I found on Reddit said that guys have had it for a year and not had one successful print. So I'm not going to let it get that far. It's already in the box, ready to go back. I'll show you guys. I mean, it's like all on the pallet and everything the way it came, because it weighs like 170 pounds or something like that. It's kind of ridiculously heavy. I have a stair climbing hand truck that's also a pallet jack, so luckily that's how I was able to move it. But it's right here in the original box, same way it came. And I wrapped it up, I put everything back in its foam, and I put the brackets back on the tool head to keep them from moving. I put it back exactly the way it came, you know, shrink wrapped and on the same pallet in the same box and everything the way it came, so they can resell it. I mean, it's just basically been tested with. I haven't touched any of the parts. I made that hot end, like I machined the parts, but I never actually put it in the printer. I never tested it or anything. I don't know if that spider hot end that I adapted for it would work, but I mean, it's only the adapter part that I modified, so it's not any parts of the printer and not any parts of the hot end other than the one adapter, which is not a big deal. So I can always modify that for another printer at a later date. But in its place is going to be a CreateBot 430. I thought about getting the Peak CreateBot, but I'm not going to do a tremendous amount of printing with Peak or PEC or Ultim. So, you know, and whatever other thermoplastics come out that are that temperature range, I'm not going to do a tremendous amount. And even with the Funmat, even though there's a 30-degree difference in the hot end temperature, and there's a little bit more in the chamber temperature, or no, it's not, maybe not more, it's less. I think it's 20 degrees difference. But it's not insulated when you buy it, so I'm going to insulate it. I do HVAC for a living, so I have insulation here that'll be perfectly appropriate for it. This, you know, the same stuff, basically what was in the Funmat. It's probably even better than what was in the Funmat. I thought about insulating that again, but when I wasn't sure of the, you know, how long I was going to have it, because it wasn't getting even one successful print. The most successful thing I got out of it was the PLA, which was this out of that printer? I showed it to you before in another clip in this video, but I think this was the overhang test in PLA with the printer open and the fan on 100%, and that's why this printed. But once the fan is off and the cabinet's closed, that heat just makes it clog and clog and clog. Like, even the first layer is not coming out. And it's the extruder's clicking, and it's a nightmare to deal with. I spent 3 nights until 5 a.m. here. I mean, I gave it more than a fair chance. I'm talking about from when I get done with work, probably almost 12 hours, if not a full 12 hours, trying and watching videos and you know, watching videos from what I didn't realize how segregated the high temperature and the average temperature printing is, but it's pretty segregated. There's companies like Vision Miner that specialize in high temperature printing only, and they're a wealth of knowledge. And honestly, had I bought it again, that printer, I would do it again through them with their American support package, because just the fact that they have guys here in America that you can get a hold of that'll back up the product. I really wanted to buy their 22 IDEX, but it's like 15 grand. I just couldn't justify the expense when I don't use it for business, or I mostly don't use it for business. Certain things that I do, but it's not mainly for business. It's mainly for personal, and I just can't justify 15 grand for that right now. I just bought 2 houses. I'm buying 3 more condos. I can't justify 15 grand on a printer right now. But so this one is actually less expensive and has two extruders. They're not independent. They move on the same rail, and they're not independent on that rail. So it is just still one printer. You can't like mirror print or any of that kind of stuff like the 22 IDEX would. And it goes up to 420 Celsius, which is hot enough to print Peak. But the 450 wouldn't have made much of a difference, because you still have to do the annealing process afterwards, even with that, because of the chamber temperature and the plate temperature and the hot end temperature. It has to be printed at some extreme temperatures not to have to anneal it afterwards. So it's not going to really make much of a difference to me. But I think I'm going to be able to get the chamber. It's 70. It's rated for 70 now, and that one was rated for 90. I think I can get it up even higher than 90, because once I insulate it and I'm going to add a couple of grid heaters, I think I'll probably get it even higher than the Intamsys was, because had I kept that, I would have gotten that up higher too. So the hot end would need a firmware change to be any hotter, which maybe I'll look into that later on if there's a reason to. But the chamber temperature, there is a reason to. The build plate gets. I think it's the same temperature, so that's a moot point. And it's got a way bigger build volume. That's 260, 260, 260. This is 300, 300, 300, 270, something like that. And the build plates were a lot less expensive. The printer, I mean, their next step up is like a $13,000 or $14,000 printer. So this was like $4,000 for this one. It was on sale right now from $5,000, which is better than I paid $6,000 for the Intamsys, and $6,000 for a printer that couldn't even print ABS, which is the material that it came with. It came with a free roll of ABS, and it can't print ABS. And you guys have seen my other videos. This isn't the first, second, or third printer I bought, or had malfunction and fixed every problem with it. This is the 5th printer that I've bought, and in all the time that I'm troubleshooting it, and the guys at Vision Miner were awesome. I didn't even buy the printer from them, and they were willing to help me. I downloaded their profiles and tried printing with those. It still didn't work, but regardless, they were willing to help. And I don't have their warranty. I didn't even buy it from them. That's a good company. That's kind of like what it's all about with any business. If they're there for people that, like, it makes me want to buy a printer from them. Unfortunately, I just couldn't justify the price of the printer that I would have bought from them, because obviously I'm not going to buy another Intamsys. But I would have bought their 22 IDEX if it was, honestly, if I didn't have the circumstances in my own personal life and business life that I do right now that are so expensive. I would have totally bought that printer. I would have said screw it, because I don't want to deal with all these, late nights trying to get a printer to work that's brand new that I just spent $6,000 on. I'd rather spend the 15 and not have any problems, and have support if I do have a problem. So if I could justify it, I would, but right now I just can't. So maybe in the future I will pick one up, at a later date. But I've seen all good feedback. This doesn't have Ethernet connection, but the Funmat didn't either, even though it was supposed to, because the enhanced HT has an Ethernet connection, but mine doesn't for some reason. So I don't know if I actually got an HT enhanced, because also the hot end design was the old hot end design, and the label that I sent the picture of said Funmat HT. It didn't say enhanced, but it did it did the self-leveling, which I don't know if it's a hybrid. It was in the middle of their changing all these things. I'm not really sure. And I haven't found that out from Matterhackers yet, because they haven't communicated back to me yet. But I'll let you guys know how that turns out in the CreateBot review. But the review for the Intamsys, unfortunately, is a big thumb down, because I shouldn't have to spend this much time getting failed prints, wasting material, wasting electricity, wasting my time on a brand new $6,000 printer. It just is not. It just shouldn't be that way. It's just messed up. It's just like, it's not. I'm sure you guys don't want to spend $6,000 on a printer and then have to spend multiple days and nights trying to get it to make one successful print in anything. Like, it's a purpose-built high-temperature printer. I did not buy it to use PLA. I did not intend on ever using PLA in it. The only reason I tried it is because I couldn't get ABS to work. Then I tried PC, and it was even more of a shit show. So that goes to show you, when I try even higher temperature materials, I didn't even try any carbon fiber materials, nothing like that, because honestly, I don't think it's capable of it. I don't know how other people are getting any success with it when I've had such tremendous failures. I'm sorry to say it, because I was really excited about the printer, and I was really hoping it was going to work out. I didn't have any idea or any expectation whatsoever, even in the furthest reach of my mind, that this was going to go this way. I really didn't. And obviously it goes to show you, my intention was to absolutely buy a high temperature printer. I mean, I have another one arriving in a couple days, and I just packaged this one up, and I have not been refunded for it yet. I mean, I will be, and there's it is what it is. I'll get it handled however I have to handle it. But the bottom line is that this is not what I expected, and I did not intend on sending this printer back. I fully intended on keeping the printer and having a good go-to high temperature printer, and that didn't work out. So the CreateBot is made to do both. So I can use it as a higher precision because it has, you know, steel linear rails. It had, instead of rods, which that had, which I actually like the rail for the X and Y better than the rods, and then it has the rods and then the lead screw for the Z axis. But I'll show you guys all that when it gets here. But it has one of the two nozzles is for high temp and one is for low temp, so that you're not mixing them. And the huge bonus with that is if you print in Peak or PEC or Ultim, and then you try to print in a low temperature material, you may have some of that high temperature filament left in the nozzle or the extruder or wherever that won't extrude, and you'll get a clog from that because it's not hot enough. So you have a separate nozzle for those kind of filaments, which is really pretty great, and it has a separate extruder, a separate everything, and they're direct extrusion. Like the QIDI printer, the bamboo printers are direct extrusion. They go right from the extruder into the hot end. There's nothing in the middle, just the copper tube that's in the heat sink going right to the nozzle. This has an extruder that's pushing through two separate sections of Peak tubing and then into the hot end, which is like way down. I wish I still had the parts, but it's like, so I'll show you another heat sink. All right, so here's the spider hot end that I was putting it in, right? So the Peak tubes are exactly this length because I actually tried it with Capricorn tubes. And this is the size of them. There's two of them, right? And it's got a bevel in it. So this is beveled going, you know, coned, and this is coned inward. So there's like a male and female, and they sit inside each other. And it in theory it would work, but like it's the wrong material. If it was machined aluminum or titanium like it should be, it would work, but it wasn't. So this is the hot end. This goes basically down to here. So there's a small heat sink that threads into the heat block and then threads into the heat sink. And then that heat break is having this sit a little bit into it. So this Peak tubing that comes with it is going all the way from the extruder to like almost the heat block. It's so far down in it that I don't know how anybody is getting successful prints out of it without having clogs, because everything you print has to go through that whole shit show that they have for an extrusion system. And to me, making parts out of the same material that you're printing with that are going that close to your hot end is ridiculous, especially when a lot of those printers, a lot of those filaments are printed with the fan off. So how is the heat sink supposed to be any colder? It's transferring heat. It's aluminum. Aluminum transfers heat faster than steel and retains it less time, but it doesn't matter. It's a constant source of heat. It's not going to retain it less time like that. And with the fan off, there's no way for it not to melt and get clogged. I just don't understand the concept. And I didn't know the design, and I went further with the CreateBot and any other printer I looked at when I decided that this wasn't going to work, to find out how their extrusion system worked, how their nozzle was set up, and make sure that it wasn't another shit show like this. Because don't get me wrong, it's a really good design for an Ender 3. That's one of the most popular printers out there, and it's been using that type of system for a long time, and it works. It works for those printers, yes, no question about it. At under 300C, you know, that's what it's supposed to work at, or really 250. I mean, most of the filaments that you use on an Ender, you don't need a temperature higher than that. That's why they work. But that setup is no longer going to work when you start using, you know, 350, 400 degrees Celsius materials. So why that setup would be on a printer that's made to print that temperature is you guys would have to ask Intamsys, because I can't make any sense of it. I can't even figure out what they were thinking when they did that. But maybe I don't even want to try to guess, because it's just out of my. I'm a very logical person, a logical thinker, and there's no logic there, and it's just like foreign to me. So, anyways. I just want to summarize. I don't want to keep going on about this. The punchline is the Intamsys printer, if you guys are looking into it, just be very cautious. I'm not saying don't buy it. I would never buy it again. That's my personal opinion. I would absolutely never even consider buying another product from Intamsys, any of their printers, just because how bad this experience was for me. That doesn't mean it's definitely going to be bad for you, so I don't want to steer anyone to or from. I'm just sharing my experience so that you can make your own judgment. But my experience was a nightmare. And I will add some clips into here of the videos that I sent to Matterhackers of how badly it was failing. I mean, in the beginning, the glass plate, the new printer has a glass plate, and I also got a PEI and a carbon fiber. Or a PE, I forget what the other one was, but it's supposed to be really good for peak, and then the carbon fiber will probably be good for the rest. So, and I like the glass, honestly. It lays down so smooth. That's what I was impressed with in the beginning with the Intamsys. When it was working properly, it was laying down so smooth on the glass. It was really good. But then, 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the print, it's clogged again. It's so frustrating. It's over and over and over, and then I'm doing research and using Cura instead of the Intam suite. It was so infuriating. I don't know how to say it with words. I literally am at a loss for words with this. I have no idea how to describe to you how frustrating it was. So that's my summary. That's the real deal. Like, all my reviews are always real information that actually happened to me. This is real information that actually happened to me, only it's worse than QIDI's problems because I didn't have that support that I did from them. And in the beginning, I didn't from them, but that was one time, and then every other time they've been very responsive and sent me parts they got them to me very quickly, like 5 days. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that, because it's been 5 days since I heard from Matterhackers, which is what it is. It is what it is. But that's the bottom line. They were responding to me within the same day. Maybe it was late or whatever, but honestly, I don't think it was. And they immediately addressed the problem, immediately sent me out the parts, more than what I needed. That's the kind of I would honestly recommend, if anybody were to ask me, I would recommend that printer over the Intamsys for $6,000. I would rather see you buy a $900 QIDI X Max 3, because you will get more successful prints with more higher temp materials than you will with that. And that's a fact, not just based on my experience, on a lot of things that I read on people who had the printer for a year, and that's still all they've gotten is no successful prints in one whole year. I mean, it's mind-boggling why people are still buying it, but I mean, they do a good job of advertising it, and it looks good, which is what got me to buy it, and unfortunately, it's just not what it's cracked up to be. So hopefully this is going to help some people, make a better decision, a more informed decision, because I wish that I had seen a video like this before I ordered it. If I had seen anything like this, anything giving this accurate, legitimate, real information, then I'm going to attach clips that are going to show directly. You're going to show you're going to see me having these problems in real time in the videos. I'm going to put them in somewhere around here, probably not right while I'm saying this, but I'll put them in before or after, maybe some of each, so you guys can see the hell I've been going through trying to get this printer to work for yourselves, because it's been a true nightmare. And in the beginning I was excited about it, and I loved the way it was laying it down on the glass, but it just clogged over and over and over, and has been so, and I honestly didn't want to have anything negative to say, so I didn't add that to the video until now, until I got far enough to where I'm not keeping the printer. So I don't want to I'm trying to be a little more cautious to not prejudge any company before I give it a thorough try. And I did that with this. And even after 2 nights of being very frustrated and not wanting to keep the printer at that time, I had my anniversary coming up. I had 4 days away. I gave myself those 4 days to just chill out, not make any harsh decisions, rash decisions. Let the printer sit and just go enjoy myself and relax, which I did. Thank God, I needed it. And when I got back, I tried it again, and what do you know? It was 5:35 a.m. when I was sending an email to Matterhackers that I'm not keeping this printer. I don't care what Intamsys says about whether or not it's actually an enhanced version. I don't care what they are going to send me for parts. I spent $6,000 on this printer. I'm not going to spend countless hours working on it just to get my first successful print in the exact same filament they sent with it. I think I said enough right there. You guys heard everything I said prior to that. You can imagine how frustrating that is. And you're going to see in these video clips how furious I was. And I still kind of am. I mean, I had to get a delivery of a 200-pound, pallet. I had to take that off with my machine, boom it down into my shop, put it on the hand truck, unbox it carefully, keeping all the stuff because I packaged it up perfectly, because should something like this happen, I wanted to have everything that I could send it back the same way I got it. And thank God I did, because it did work out that way, unfortunately, in this instance. And I actually asked the next company that I ordered the Create Bot from, I told them what happened with this and what would happen with them if a similar circumstance occurred, which I don't anticipate, because I did do more research and I did look at the hot end. I did look at the extrusion system and the setup, and I did look at all those factors. And it's just a way better design. It's a far better design, and it's cheaper, and you can print the same stuff on it. I don't think there's anything out there that you need those extra 30 degrees to print. The thing is that you do need is the chamber temperature, which you can easily raise, which I'll show you how when I get the new printer, which is the day after tomorrow. The other thing is I waited almost a month for this printer, and I'm getting the other one in less than a week. So that's another point to highlight. And their service seems to be similar, because if Matterhackers can't even get a hold of them, and they're one of the bigger 3D printing companies, resellers, I'm obviously not going to. So I don't think that anybody else that's buying their products is either. So take that into consideration if you're thinking about buying this printer. I hope that, this is why I do these videos. I was buying this printer one way or another. I was buying it for my own reasons. It's nothing to do with doing the review. I'm just doing the review because hopefully it will help one of you guys before you make the wrong decision on a printer. Because depending on your skill level, which I'm not a rookie. Like I said, this isn't my first, second, third, fourth printer. And I've been CNC machining before that. So, I understand all this stuff. Don't get me wrong, the CNC machining is the same G code. It's just everything else is different. So, but I've been doing the 3D printers for a while now, and I have done it on multiple of them. And just like every other hobby and passion of mine, I kind of immerse myself in them. And this one is no different. But that being said, I got a lot of experience in the short period of time, and still couldn't get this to have a single successful print. So I don't want to be redundant and I'm not trying to rag on Intamsys. I'm sure they're a great company. If I ever spoke to anyone from there, maybe I would know a little more, which I have never spoken to anyone representing the company directly. It's all third-party people, so I don't know if there is any communication directly with the company at all, even email, like any way, shape, or form. But good luck finding it, because I haven't been able to. And when I did reach out to them, I got another call from a different third-party place. It's just not that I should have known that was a bad sign when the salesperson was from another company, but I figured it was just for sales, but it's not. You're expected to go to who you bought it from for support. And unfortunately, Matterhackers is a great company for average 3D printing. For high temperature, it's not their specialty, and that's very clear, obviously. They didn't know. Honestly, I probably knew more what to do than they were able to tell me so far. You know, it's just not the right company to buy a high temperature printer from. A regular temperature printer or an average, you know, like up to 300 or 350 or something like that, I'm sure that they know what they're talking about, probably more than I do, probably more than, you know, most people do. They sell a ton of printers, they deal with a ton of these companies. I'm sure they have a very good idea what they're doing. But with high temperature, you need to go to a specialty high temperature place. It's just that simple. You just can't deal with, like Bamboo has their engineering, you know, the Bamboo X1 Carbon, they have an X1E, which is an engineering X1 engineering printer, which the only difference is for double the price is no, it's not insulated. It just has a heater fan, like a grid heater with a fan, and it has what was the other difference? The 320 degrees Celsius hot end, which 20 degrees is not really a big jump. So the bed temperature I don't think was any higher. I don't think anything else was different. It just was a different color. The side panels were like darker. That's it. So honestly, for $2,500, I'd rather just, honestly, to buy that for $2,500, I'd rather just stay with lower temperature materials or spend the $15K and get a 22 IDEX. Or get something in the middle like I'm doing, only because I can't justify the price tag. Which, honestly, for what that printer is, it's worth more than that. Honestly, they could probably be selling it for 20 or more, because most of the other companies are. I mean, the CreateBot, well, I guess they're being competitive, because the CreateBot Peak printer, which is a much bigger, more industrial, you know, high temperature printer, purpose-built high temperature printer. Not for both high and low temperature. It's purpose built for high temperature, and that's like 14 grand. So it's right in that range. And the 22 IDEX is definitely a little more advanced, because those guys have been doing lots of research and printing with high temperature, and all that knowledge went into that printer. So it's impressive, and I was extremely tempted and almost bought one, but I kept my impulsivity down a little bit, at least, and didn't splurge and buy one. Like I said, if the other outside factors in my life weren't going on right now, I would probably be having one of those on the way. But it is what it is. It's working out the way it's working out, and I'm sure this one will be fine for my purposes. I won't be often printing in, you know, $700 a kilogram materials. But anyways, that's it. I just wanted to tell you guys the Intamsys did not work out for me. Those are the reasons. And right now I'm going to add in some of the clips, but I will sign off with you guys, because I'm not going to do any more new segments with me talking. But you'll see in these segments I'm going to add, these are going to be from my iPhone, so don't hate on me for the video quality, which the video should be good, but the sound will probably be bad. But they're from my phone that I took to send to Matterhackers and show what was going on. But I want you guys to actually see how bad these experiences were and how many there were. I didn't obviously record every instance, but I recorded some of them to show them what was going on. And I want you guys to see that for yourself. So if you're thinking about buying this printer, you'll see what hell I went through with it and reconsider. And, you know, I'm not saying to change your mind, but just consider it. Just take it into account that I am not the only one, I know for a fact, but I had personally a horrible experience and wouldn't buy another one. I wouldn't take another one for free, because I don't want the extra work. I mean, really, I don't, if somebody were to offer me one for free, that I couldn't sell it to someone else, but I had to keep it and use it, or like say Intamsys wanted me to take one, but they wanted me to print with it and give them the results, I would turn them down cold, because I'm not going to deal with that many problems on a printer. I could have been tending to my other 3-4 printers that work. I could have been printing other things and tuning those and doing things that were actually producing results instead of throwing time down the toilet. And that's aside from the time that I spent getting it delivered in the snow and ice when they came with it barely wrapped properly. I wrapped it better than they did. I mean, it wasn't wrapped that well with the wrap, and they're delivering it in a rainy, snowy day while I'm removing snow with my machine, and then I have to go. He's complaining that I have to go change the bucket to the forks to take it off his truck. I mean, wasn't a good experience. The only good part of the experience was the salesperson Phil from Matterhackers. So if you guys ever deal with Matterhackers, look for Phil, because he's a really awesome sales guy. He's always been responsive. He reached out to me personally a couple times. He's a really good dude to buy from. So if you guys do business with Matterhackers, definitely keep an eye out for him, because he's a good one. But all the rest of the experience sucked. The printer sucked. The delivery, the ordeal sucked. The tech support part of Matterhackers sucked, and all for what? To like have a hard time getting my money back on top of all of that, and then wasting electricity, wasting time, wasting energy that I could have been making money. It's just a very trying experience, and you guys should not have to go through that any more than I should have. So hopefully this will prevent that from happening, because one of two things: maybe you'll know what you're doing enough to know that you can handle these problems, or you won't and you'll heed the warning. So one way or the other, I get what I wanted out of it, which is to help somebody out there in one way or another. So if somebody does know what they're doing and they buy it anyway, they had the warning in advance. If somebody doesn't, they save themselves what you're about to see. All right? Take care, guys. Sorry to have bad news about another company, but hopefully I'll be coming back to you with the next review on the CreateBot with some great news. I'm very excited to have good news for a printer for the first time since Bamboo, and then QIDI like really coming through for me. And then I never did a review on the Creality. I will. But I've been using it for a while, so I don't have initial opening the box and all that stuff, but I can do a review on it later. And then I have other airgun stuff to get back to. But as far as 3D printers, and all my machining has been put on hold other than the DRO, but I'll be getting back to that stuff very soon too, and doing some actual machining videos. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Later. Hey guys, at the end of the last video, I told you I would bring in for a clip when I first started printing with the Funmat HT, and it's printing its first print right now. So sorry about the dim lighting. I'm doing the last couple of lights in the expansion of this room, and I just have 2 lights left to do, and it'll be done. So next video it'll be plenty bright, but. Anyways, I had to make them go on the same switch as that room. Well, the rest of the room now. Anyways, I'm very impressed with the first layer and how it's laying down. It's coming out very smooth. I don't know if it's the glass that's so much different from what I'm used to seeing, because this is the first printer I've had with a glass build plate. I do have the carbon fiber one from Vision Miner, but they actually sent me the wrong build plate. It's the wrong size and doesn't have the holes for the magnets, and they don't have the right one in stock. So that's fun, but shit happens. So hopefully they'll get it to me sooner than later. But that's the printer laying down its first print. This is its first print ever with me. I don't. There's no hour meter on it, so I don't know how they test it or if they test it. But it was easy to level, and this is speaking of Vision Miner, they have profiles specifically for this printer, which I didn't buy it from them, but in hindsight I probably should have. Not because I have anything against Matterhackers. I bought it from Matterhackers for a reason, because they did right by me in the past, so I wanted to give them the business. But more importantly, they don't actually handle a lot of high temperature stuff. So, you know, and they even openly told me that, which was good of them, but I had already went through with buying it when I spoke to somebody at Vision Miner and realized that they are really experienced with high temperature stuff. I mean, they specialize in high temperature stuff. Is the beginning of an overhang test, and that's how long it took to get clogged for literally like the 15th time in a row. It's 5:30 a.m. I have been here all night trying to get this printer to make one single overhang test. This is absolutely insane. I mean, this is all factory stock parts. I haven't changed anything. I made that other extruder. I have not put it in. This is all the original extruder. I haven't even put the other extruder in. This is all the original parts. I just wanted to see this thing print on its own with all the factory stuff. And it literally cannot print anything other than PLA. ABS doesn't print. This is PC. Obviously PC doesn't print anything over any realistic temperature. It just times out. It times out the extruder. This is insane. I can't do this anymore. I'm done with this. I'm not going to be spending the whole night here tonight, so this is just a short progress report. This is, I mean, just look at the quality. I mean, I haven't even had, this is the printer I've had the most failures with by far, and it's all original equipment in it, and it's actually printing. Oh, and by the way, Diamondback. I even tried a Diamondback nozzle in the Intamsys printer, and I couldn't get it. This is with polycarbonate in a heated chamber, and it's supposed to go to 65 Celsius, but as you can see, it goes even higher. And it's at 115 build plate, which it goes higher than that. It doesn't go to 160, but I mean, it's useless to go to 160 when you can't stop clogging at, 40. So, and it's only at 265. I had to put it at 270 to even get it through the extruder or through those peak tubes that are nonsense in my opinion. I don't know what that design is about or who would come up with something like that. But even a bamboo printer with no heated chamber can print this just like this. But I did it on this printer to prove a point because this printer is the one I've had more problems with than any other printer. And I never once got this far on this exact same print. This is just an overhang test. It's pretty common. I'm sure you guys have probably seen it. It has different circles, different overhangs, different bridges. I'll show it to you when it's done. But this is how easily I printed on my redheaded stepchild printer. How easily I got to print the polycarbonate. And if I couldn't print at all, even with 3 nights of troubleshooting on this printer, there's obviously something wrong, guys. I mean, I did a lot of troubleshooting with this. I had a string of 80 emails for one problem with the tech support, but the fact is they got back to me every time, and they sent me parts to the point. I mean, look, this entire right side of the drawer is all QIDI parts. Extruder, BL Touch, new boards, new hot ends, multiple new hot ends, new wires, new tool head housings, new fans. I mean, they sent me a ton of stuff to replace, and new EMMC. I replaced electronics in it. They sent it all to me, no problem, very quickly. I mean, like within 5 days, I had the stuff, and that's with them troubleshooting with me through the whole process. So, I had a lot of problems with it, but I kept it because they were so strenuously adamant that they had my back. Like, they really did have my back, and that's why I still have the printer. But I mean, I haven't even heard from this company, and I'm having some tremendous problems with the printer, and I haven't heard one word. You see, not one string. I mean, this printer is actually working phenomenal right now. I'm really happy with how well it's working. But I'm printing this just deliberately to prove a point, because if you do any research on this printer, it's a QIDI X Max 3. Everyone has had problems with this printer. Even the people who love it, they have had problems. Everyone. Clogging, the same things, because there wasn't enough cooling in the hot end. But it is a direct drive extruder. It goes right to the heat sink, which has a solid tube, a metal tube that goes right out to the nozzle. So that's why it was fixable with ventilation and fans, and it works flawlessly now, even in a heated chamber with PC. And that's the most fluid filament I've seen, and it finds every hole to creep out of more than any other filament I've seen. So this is printing it without a hitch, and this was my problem child. So obviously I have a new problem, or I had a new problem child. So this right now is, I'm going to get my stair climbing hand truck that's a pallet jack, my stair climbing pallet jack hand truck, because that's how I put this on here. I put rubber pads on it, and I put it on the rubber pads, and I slid it onto the pallet forks, and down it goes, and it lowers it for me, and everything's electric, and I don't have to worry about damaging anything. Nice and easy. And then the box goes together in 4 pieces right around it, but all the boxes that were in the box are packed with all the parts. Everything's ready to go, and I'm putting this in there right now. I just wanted to finish doing this for you guys because I wanted you to see that my problem child printer could even do PC. So here's the proof. I mean, it's pretty hard to deny. And just in case you think I'm telling you it's PC when it's PLA or something, I mean, first of all, look at the temperatures. And the whole chamber is closed. But second of all, here's the roll. The same exact roll that was in the Intamsys printer when I was trying to print the exact same print. And I couldn't get even one first layer. The first layer was screwed up every single time. I could not even get a first layer to lay out right. After meticulously leveling the bed, I don't know how many times, which I also do with this printer. So obviously I know how to do it because the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it's printing perfectly. Here, I'll let you have a little bit better view. I'll pull it up on the computer so you can see the camera inside that actually works on Wi-Fi or local area network or both. But there's the printer printing right now. So I'll send you another progress video. I'm gonna box that printer up and wrap it up and get it ready to ship, because the new replacement for it is coming in shortly. But I just want you guys to see everything for yourself, that this is legit, and here's the temperatures. Obviously, I'm not lying. It's at 270 for nozzle temperature. It's 110 or so. Let's see. It's it's 115 on the bed, and 65 to 66 in the chamber, and that's because it's stopping it. Oh, I did put another small grid heater in there, so I can probably get it up to 70, 75 in the chamber. But the nozzle is only going to go to 350. Anyways, the 420 on this printer is going to be okay for me. I'll insulate it, and I'll get the bed and chamber temperature up higher by insulating it and adding heat. But I thought this was a better printer, and unfortunately you guys don't specialize in high temperature stuff, so you didn't know any better, and neither did I. So it is what it is. I mean, honestly, Vision Miner did. When I told them that's the printer I bought, the sounds that I got in response, they didn't directly say anything because they're teamed up with them, and they sell their stuff, but they made it, the sounds they were making made it clear that I probably that type of sound. They made it seem like they were trying to sell me on the IDEX 22, which is a little much for me. I'm not going to go that far. It's like $15,000. I would have if I couldn't have found another printer that met the specifications I need. And I mean, look at all this filament that I have. I mean, I'll still buy filament from you guys. I'm still going to do business with you guys, but I just can't. I just can't be getting stuck with a $6,000 printer and then spending days and days of my time working on it and then losing money on top of that. It's just not right, and you guys know it. So, I mean, this is proving it right now more than all the stuff I already have sent, because that's the same roll of filament that I literally took from one printer to the other. This is a $900 printer. When I bought it, it was $1,100 or $1,200, but right now it's a $900 printer. And right now, and it's a $900 printer after they made all the upgrades that I had to troubleshoot and figure out and get parts sent. So, you know, that's saying a lot. $6,900, no printing, perfect printing. What's the problem here? It's not hard to see that there is one. Okay, so you see, just completed. It took 2 hours, which the Intamsys wanted to take over 4 hours for this same overhang test. So this is still very hot, but it's finished. And you see, this is in PC, and it successfully completed this overhang print in PC the first time. A $900 printer. The same exact roll that I just took out of the other printer. I mean, if that doesn't show you what I'm talking about, and that there's a problem with this printer by any standards, I don't know what possibly could. I'm gonna try to stand you up, and I'll take this off the plate. It's so hot, it's just flexing with it right now. There we go. And honestly, this print is hard enough to do in PLA because this goes all the way up to 80 degrees, but this did it in PC. And that's from all the hours and hours of time I've spent working on it. So I'm saying that to say this, that it's not something I'm unfamiliar with. This is, you know, it's not flawless, but if I did it in PLA, it would be. And for the printer that it is and how much it costs and all the other factors, it is pretty damn flawless considering all of that. And, you know, you've seen my small shop over here where I have several printers. I'm going to show you something else because, you know, this is what I do for a living. I'm a home improvement contractor and HVAC tech. And I have several licenses, real estate and all that. But this is what I do as a passion and as another business. And I CNC machine. So I've been doing this type of stuff for a long time. This is not new to me. And here's my lathe. I mean, and milling table, and I mean, I do a lot of stuff. This is not something that I'm new to. You know, it's not something I'm sure that's a lot of times what you guys would think, because, you know, a lot of people probably don't have a lot of experience doing G-code and all that kind of stuff, but it's not new for me. So I just want to get that out of your heads, if it is in your head. I don't know, I can't read your mind, but I'm just making it known that, you know, this kind of thing is something that I'm very familiar with. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys probably know more than me, and I'm happy to admit that. And there's a lot of people who know more than me, but I don't know nothing. I don't not know enough to get this printer working correctly. So, you know, it's just incredibly frustrating to have a $900 printer that I've spent countless amount of time working on, and it prints it perfectly after all this time that the $6,000 printer I just got that hasn't printed one successful print wouldn't print with the same exact filament, and as soon as I put it in this printer, it prints. And I guarantee you any of my other printers would do the same thing. So anyways, hopefully this gives you a clear picture of what's actually going on and why I'm so frustrated and why I can't keep this printer.